Hello everybody, my name is Jeremy and this is assignment 2 for advanced programming in George Brown College. My student number is 101367286. Let's start. I am going to be going over this rubric here and going to go part by part to talk about my code. It should cover everything you have to know in the code. So the first part is file input and output. I didn't quite find a use for file output, but I did for file input heavily. So one of the requirements was to use text files to read lines of text from. And I made a util class that allows you, without making an object because they're static functions. And so you can do get text, which will just get a line of text. You can get it also will only get it from, like, it will get all the text from the file. This one will get it with a specific file name. Then there's get lines, which will get lines from the file and with the specific file name. And then this one takes the position. So this one is the amount of lines there are, but it always starts at the first line. This one will take a position, so you can say start at the fifth line and then read 5 lines from there. And then you input the file name. So here's all the code here for that. As you can see here, I won't go line by line, obviously, explaining it, but from what I said, you could probably understand how they work. Just multiple for loops using getLine as like a cursor. Anyways, let's move on. Inheritance is used through enemy. So enemy is a base class, and you can see in game over here, I have enemy, like, the first enemy is this one, motive, and it's just an object of enemy. But because player was going to be very similar to enemy with all its variables, I decided to make player inherit the enemy class. So enemy has all these commands, and there you can see player inherit enemy, and player will have such things like this for inventory. And player doesn't even have a name. Like, there's a default name for it, but player doesn't need a name. And yeah, so I didn't need to make all the get health getters and setters, and I didn't have to make all the variables again. So that's player and enemy with inheritance. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a use for templates and stacks and queues, so I am taking the hit on that mark voluntarily because I could have possibly squeezed something in, but yeah, personally I couldn't find how to, or like, I understand how to use it, I just couldn't find a use for it for this specific assignment. Two-part commands get a bit complicated. So I only was able to finish them for battle, but battle there's a lot of options you can do. So I will show you in util. I have a thing where it grabs the first word and the second word, and here you can, when we go to the bottom, it just grabs the position of the space and then grabs the word from the 0 to space, and then grabbing the object. So let's say you throw a rock or something. You just type in throw a rock. Then it will say you will sorry. It will find space, the space before rock, and then take its position, and then do position +1, which will be the start of rock, so R. And then that returns that string too. So in get battle, I have it all here. just to make sure, or I'll actually say this for exception handling. So we'll start with the 2-point commands here. I have a help command to explain how to battle and what kind of commands you can use. But here I have the first example, throw fists. So there's an if statement here. It says throw. You can see over here there's a if statement for kill. Then there's talk and so on. And you can see then there's a nested if statement for fists, myself, pencil, and phone, and different things can happen each time. I used a lot of cout because I felt like it would take longer to use a text file to just read all these lines. So I didn't put every single line in text file, but I did put a lot of lines in text files. But yeah, that's with the 2-part commands. It's just a lot of nested if statements and grabs the first 2 letters from a string. Exception handling is done if you type in the wrong thing. Everything the user can type in is a string, so you're able to type in anything you want. But for example, here if you type in something wrong, it will just loop again. But if you type in something with capitals, I have this for loop here that uses the to lower function and lowercases the word and adds it to a string called fixed, and the one that the user inputs is option. And so this for loop turns all the letters to lowercase. The user experience, I'll just start up my game here. I felt like I did okay with it. Here's just the title screen. You can start the journey. The tutorial is a bit rough, and I'll be honest with that one. But everything after is, I feel pretty good. So I'll just, and then, adherence to code standard and proper use of GitHub. So, you'll see the code standard itself, but then, you'll also see proper use of GitHub as well. We used GitHub Desktop in this class, and I did constant commits on it. Alright, thank you for watching, and bye-bye.